Mark here and welcome back. Yesterday we worked through the top 4 holes, just which finger goes where, making sure that we didn't have any air leaks, and then we started to practice a little bit on just stepping through that little thing here. Today we are going to add the bottom 4 holes. We have 4 fingers, no thumb hole back here, so we're going to be using our 4 fingers like this. And just like yesterday, where we started from the top and worked our way down, we are going to start with these 4 holes completely closed, and we're going to go one at a time. Because what we're doing at first here is just checking the placement of our finger pads on the holes, ensuring that we're not letting any little air leaks out and that we are getting that muscle memory built in to our hands as far as where the fingers need to be to make sure that they're completely covering the holes. Just like yesterday, we are going to start with this open, and then we're going to work our way down. And also just like yesterday, if you remember, we were using this finger and keeping that shut. Now we're not going to do that just yet because I want to work on that finger placement, but we'll do that in a little bit here once we have that down. So starting from these 4 down and then this open. Then the next one. Now here's an example of what to look out for. And sometimes it can look like you have it covered, but look, there might be a tiny little hole there. So, from the top here, and I'll also add there's nothing wrong with looking really closely. One of my favorite pieces of advice that my son he's only 5, but he's probably sick of, is that when you're facing a problem, when you're facing an issue, and I think I might have said this earlier, but slow down and look closer. And that can solve so many problems, so many of our own problems, slowing down and just looking closer. I already have that muscle memory, right? So my fingers just kind of go exactly where they need to go. But as you learn, you're still building that muscle memory. And so there's nothing wrong with getting in there and saying, hey, where does my finger need to be here? Or, hey, I'm still having kind of a squeak. What's going on there? Let me look really close. Oh, you know what? I do see a little crack there. And so next up is this one. And this can be a tad trickier just because it's not quite in a line. It's more ergonomical, so that your hands can fit onto it easier. But you might have to take a peek there and say, where exactly is that hole? So now that we have those, what I mentioned yesterday was that in the main scale that the flute is going to play in, you are going to keep the second from the bottom and the second from the top, excluding the thumb, covered pretty much all the time. So we're going to now practice with that, with keeping that covered and just going. All right, so go ahead and keep practicing. Your homework for today is just to run through that a number of times until you're starting to feel comfortable. And again, the shortcut here with learning with our bodies first is that we are getting that muscle memory ingrained in our fingers. And so the more that you can do this, the better. It doesn't even matter if you're not playing. After a little while, when you feel like, hey, I don't think I'm squeaking here, my fingers seem to be closing it, you just want to hold the flute and go like this. And also one thing is I'm kind of exaggerating how far off I'm pulling my fingers. The less that you can pull them off while still getting a clean note, the better, just because then you don't have as much of a distance to cover. So, it's just kind of up there. So the assignment for today is, as much as you can, just hold the flute and just start working on this here. And we're going to do some more muscle memory exercises in the future. But this right here, it might seem like nothing, but you are actually doing some serious, you're making some serious progress just by doing this. Even more so than just, fiddling around. And I encourage you, fiddle around, play, have fun. But it's this little exercise right here that's going to make you a better player so much faster. So that is the assignment for today, and I'll see you tomorrow.